Okay, recently there's a lot going on with Boogie 2988. So, first of all, he did a pump and dump crypto scam that was super obvious. In fact, it was so obvious because he totally owned up to the fact that it was a scam and he advertised it as such and thought that that would make it, ethically okay to steal people's money, basically. He tried to parody Andrew Tate.
Listen up, all you top G's. There's some misinformation being spread around right now by certain influencers. But I'm here to tell you the truth and the hacks to help you break free from the matrix so you can be a brokey like me.
But it was a pretty bad parody to begin with, and it was just a really scummy thing for anybody to be doing. Like, I will say this, though. I will add this one caveat. I'll give Boogie, like, the slightest bit of credit right here, and that's if you actually gave money to what Boogie was promoting, you're retarded, and you deserve to lose it. I'm sorry. Like I know that sounds harsh, okay, but of all people on the internet, pushing a crypto scam, you trust Boogie 2988? Honestly, I will rarely ever make this argument, but you deserve it at that point, seriously. People have made full-on documentaries that could rival anything you watch on Netflix these days, all about Boogie 2988, his whole life, his history on the internet, everything, the manipulation, the covert narcissism. It's deeply rooted in him. And he's blatantly telling you to your face it's a scam. I'm sorry, if you gave him any money, no sympathy for him. That being said, he should have never done this in the first place. So why exactly did he choose to do it? Well, his latest excuse is that he's the Walter White of the internet and he will do anything for money. Because a couple years ago, supposedly, Boogie was diagnosed with cancer, a rare form of blood cancer. Actually, to be honest, I'm no doctor. I don't know if it's rare, and I don't even think it's specifically a blood cancer like leukemia, for example. I think it has more to do with bone marrow, shit like that. I read into it a little bit. I'm no expert. So he was using his cancer diagnosis to garner sympathy and provide somewhat of an explanation for why he attempted to scam his fans in the first place. It's because of the cancer treatments, of course, Boogie is broke these days through no fault of his own, as we all know. And he only took the measly $10,000 to scam his fans because it has to go towards his treatment or he's gonna die. Because this was one of his primary excuses for why he went through with the scam in the first place, people like Destiny out there, the political streamer Destiny, he decided to look into this a little bit more, and he paid attention to everything Boogie was saying about his cancer previously. And through his own research, the Wikipedia warrior himself developed what he would say was a 99% conviction that Boogie 2988 does not have cancer at all and hasn't had cancer this whole time. A bold claim to make, but he was so adamant about it that he literally hopped onto their podcast, Lolcow Live, Boogie Wings' podcast with Keemstar. Destiny hopped onto the podcast live and confronted him directly about it. Honestly, I was going to show you guys some clips of the actual podcast where Destiny confronted Boogie directly, but to be frank, it's just a bunch of screaming at each other back and forth, and then Destiny going in detail about like really complicated medical terminology, stuff like that. It's a lot to cover, and they talked about it for quite a bit. So if you want to see the actual confrontation, I'll leave a link in the description. You could go check it out for yourself. But the super quick explanation here is that Boogie was in fact diagnosed with a blood condition that elevates the amount of red blood cells. So his blood is thicker and could lead to an increased risk of stroke or heart attack. Now, this specific blood condition could develop into a legitimate form of cancer. However, after analyzing what Boogie has said about this up until now, and then looking into the actual medical condition itself, Destiny now believes that he was never actually officially diagnosed with the cancerous version of this disorder. He was simply just diagnosed with the elevated red blood cell count. But what's egregious about this is a couple years ago when Boogie first announced this, he announced it as if he definitely had cancer and was definitely about to start paying for these treatments. When in reality, even to this day, he still doesn't know if it's cancerous, and it very well may not be, yet he's been using the label of cancer to garner sympathy because most people watching in their own lives usually have some connection to somebody somebody they knew with cancer. And people in general are just more sympathetic about anything labeled as cancer. So he clearly used it for the sake of donations. He wanted more people to donate him money through his various channels or whatnot. And he wanted people to accept that he had to scam his fans because he has cancer. Except these supposed treatments that he would need to be paying for to treat the cancer, he hasn't been treating the cancer whatsoever. And that's what Destiny finally confronts him about. This past whole 2 years that Boogie has known about this diagnosis, he's only been on blood thinners and other various like blood flow medications and whatnot, as well as testosterone. He's on TRT, testosterone replacement. TRT is basically just legal steroids. And so coincidentally, with this blood condition that he is confirmed to have, if you add TRT to the equation, if you're injecting testosterone, it can mimic the cancerous version of the disease, which is why his doctor is checking for that. So what Destiny believes is it's the testosterone Boogie's on that is exacerbating his symptoms, and it's not developing into a form of cancer because Boogie's not actually being treated for cancer. He's just being treated for his blood condition. So Destiny is calling bullshit that he needs all of this money now all of a sudden because blood thinners are much more affordable than the standard run-of-the-mill cancer treatment. And Boogie himself admitted that recently, like in the past few months or whatever, he went for a biopsy to test to see if it was actually cancer, and he doesn't know yet per se or whatever, but he won't even admit that he doesn't know it yet. He's just calling it cancer, which means he doesn't even have the medical expenses that he's been claiming to be dealing with for the past 2 years.
Did the doctor ever tell you, or did he ever say the word cancer?
He said polycythemia vera, which is a form of cancer, as he explained it to me. And no, it is not secondary polycythemia, which is Nicholas Diorio's explanation for this bullshit.
So I think it is secondary polycythemia. Can you explain?
Well, then why would he call it polycythemia vera? Why would he tell me that I have hormone markers in my blood that tells me I have polycythemia vera? Why does he order a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it?
Well, if he ordered a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it, it would be weird that you told us that you already had a diagnosis and a confirmation. If it has been confirmed,
the markers are in my blood. The hormone markers are in my blood.
Correct.
Destiny.
But you said that you'd received a diagnosis, but now you just told me that you got a bone marrow biopsy to confirm.
It's a diagnosis, and now we're confirming.
Sure.
It's called a confirmation. The hormone markers are already in my blood.
Yep. So I think what happened is, Boogie, based on everything...
biopsy because I'm wanting to do that, because I'm praying to God I don't fucking have cancer.
He doesn't care.
I'm praying to God I'm taking the 1 in a million fucking chance that they're fucking wrong, and that there's another reason that I have the hormone fucking imbalances in my blood.
Yeah, why are you praying to God 2 years after you said that you have cancer, that you don't have cancer?
Because 2 years ago, they told me I have polycythemia vera based on the fact that I had increased red blood cell counts, increased hemoglobin, and the hormone markers in my blood. And it all spelled pretty definitively that I have this. And so he wanted to get a bone marrow biopsy, but it is intrusive and expensive, so they decided to forego it. I would like to still get it done because I am hopeful, I am praying that there's a fucking merciful God of the world that would be willing to fucking let this be wrong, even though it most certainly is not.
So why are you talking about expensive cancer treatments if they don't even know if you have cancer? That nothing has been confirmed yet. It's been 2 years.
They're treating it, dipshit.
They're not.
Because they've been treating it for 2 fucking years.
How are they treating it, Boogie?
Blood test, blood thinners, bloodletting, medications. They're trying to get my weight down.
Yes.
I'm seeing the doctor every 3 fucking months. I'm doing blood tests every fucking month.
Yep.
So they don't know if you have
know?
cancer or not. So
Meanwhile, he's unwilling to show any paperwork whatsoever, and every time Destiny says, just show me some receipts here, just show me something from your doctor that says you have this diagnosis, he creates a bunch of excuses per usual, and he just pretends as if it's ridiculous to even be looking into this whatsoever. Nobody needs to confirm their medical history or whatever. He's Boogie. He knows his medical history better than we know it. Now, obviously, if he had nothing to hide, he would just provide these receipts. And in fact, Destiny finally at the end of it, went out of his way to say, I will donate $10,000 to a charity of your choice if you can just provide absolute proof that you have cancer. And Boogie said that was ridiculous, which you know right there is why this is all bullshit, because Boogie is proven to do literally anything for $10,000. He fought Wings for $10,000, even though he put no effort whatsoever into it, and he scammed his fans for a measly $10,000. So he's just full of shit. The cat's out of the bag. And if you're wondering why I sound kind of frustrated throughout this video, it's because Boogie is like impressively ungrateful given what he actually does have to be grateful for still. He puts no effort whatsoever into making any sort of videos or anything like that, makes all the excuses in the world for why he can't better his own life. He's a certified lol cow at this point and just embraces it. And everyone who knows anything about Boogie, look, we know that he's been through a lot. He got dealt somewhat of a shitty hand when he was much younger, especially in his childhood. But ever since then, he's used that as a shield to justify his shitty behavior and scummy actions over the past decade or so. He's the type of person that's just unwilling to ever actually take responsibility or do something for themselves. So he'll then go out of his way to manipulate other people and drain them for whatever they have, their emotional support, their financial support, their whatever it is that he needs. He'll lie to his audience, he'll scam his fans, he'll fake a disease, anything. All of it is justified because we should all feel bad for him to begin with. And people have supported him on a number of occasions, and he has reached heights on YouTube that most people never even come close to. His channel had millions of subscribers, and it still does. It's just sitting there. Like, sure, it's a bit of a dead channel, but he's not even making an effort. I mean, anything he uploads right now will probably get more views than anything I upload at this minute. I have 900 subscribers, but like, he can grow from there. He can pivot. He can do something. For example, 8 Thoughts, the middle-aged stud muffin alpha male gamer himself, ironically has the exact cancer, the exact form of cancer that Boogie is claiming to have. But 8 Thoughts, say what you want about him, is not a lol cow. And in fact, he only had a fraction of the success on YouTube that Boogie has achieved in the past. And on top of that, for whether you think it was justified or not, his first YouTube channel was completely deleted off of the site, and now he uploads to a much smaller, different channel where he covers his face with a mask called Ghost of 8, and he has never, even to this day, tried to garner nearly as much bullshit sympathy as Boogie has, and he actually has the condition Boogie is claiming to have. Hell, 8 Thoughts talks about it so little that, like, I always knew he had cancer in the past, but, like, I forgot until this week that he actually technically still has the cancer. It's just not terminal. But my point is, you don't hear a peep out of 8 Thoughts, even though he probably could get the added support from his viewers. And then you got Boogie out here, more successful than most people ever get on YouTube, pissed it all away, and now coming up with this bullshit just to justify his latest egregious behavior. Controversial subject, I know, but everybody knows this is because of Boogie's victim mentality. It's baked into the lol cow gene, as they say. He's just one of those people. And in a way, like, even to this day, I do feel bad for Boogie to an extent, but it's only that I feel bad that he is this ignorant, this lazy, this, like, irresponsible, this ungrateful. Like, I feel bad that he is just actually that person, because it's such a miserable existence. But it's not like he's doing any attempts whatsoever to rectify this situation. Like, deep in his heart, do I think he means it when he says he's trying to do the right thing most of the time, Boogie, that is? I think he does mean it, and I think he is trying. It's just an awful effort. He's just not trying nearly enough. It's not enough, whatever it is he's doing. The only reason he's pulling shit like this is because he hates himself. And, you know, that's sad, but it's his own fault at this point. And, you know, if his career was going to start tanking like it has in the past decade, it would be one thing if he just took it, didn't, like, bitch about it, didn't ask other people to pick up the pieces for him. But we all know by now that's not the path that he chose. He chose to be that public online victim panhandler. And here we are. Congrats, Boogie. You scammed your fans and you faked cancer, all for the short-term gain.